Naruto villains are amazing, and I honestly do believe we all love the villains more than the heroes in Naruto. The villains always made us understand them. We get the reasons behind their actions. Zabuza started off things well. This was our introduction to know what's coming from other villains in Naruto. Zabuza took down Team 7 immediately and explained the difference between him as a monster and Team 7 as ninja brats on trying to become ninja, but they are a joke to him. Zabuza adopted and trained Haku, made him become the most ultimate impossible shinobi to defeat at the time. Then at the end of his life, he realized his actions were completely wrong and he mistreated Haku the entire time. He went as far by admitting he was flawed, like any other person. Shinobi are human. No matter how hard we try to escape that fact, we always fail. Well, at least I have failed. But it's understandable why Zabuza is mostly everyone's weakest Naruto villain in terms of writing, but he was still a great starter villain, showing us what to expect, continuing Naruto going further. As for Orochimaru, our favorite Snake Lord, his backstory is still a complete mystery to us. Orochimaru desired immortality, trying to escape the limits of the human body to extend his life to understand all knowledge and forbidden jutsu. We still don't understand mentally what went wrong in his head, but we do have proof Orochimaru was not born evil. Something did happen, but we shall never know the full truth of his life. Orochimaru is one of the most favorite villains because of his huge impact at the beginning. Orochimaru fought with Sasuke, fought with the third Hokage, and fought with Tsunade, and all of the means of getting what he desires. He fought with Sasuke in the Forest of Death to test him to see what is he worth compared to Itachi, just to prepare him to be his next vessel in 3 years. He fought to try and did kill the third Hokage, basically for shits and giggles. Orochimaru technically didn't have a real reason to kill Hiruzen, but he even went as far to bring back the past Hokage to this realm. In Shippuden, we found out there's a possibility of a chance he went rogue because of the death of his parents. It's not confirmed if that was the real reason why he went insane, but the concept of him wanting to become immortal, to extend his life so he will never die, is probably more relatable than you think. Many people around the world love knowledge and history, and Orochimaru loves to collect everything and wants to know everything. If real curious people and scientists had the chance to extend their life to know more of anything and not die, I'm sure they would do it. And this is why we love our Snake Devil, Orochimaru. He's an iconic character, an iconic villain, and he's just a badass. Now, Obito Uchiha, he's a character who walked the path of righteousness, but found himself in a tragic hole of darkness to never return from. Obito is relatable for those who have lost their way, and the only path they could choose was the wrong path. When a human being has a moment of weakness, he or she doesn't really have a choice. Obito went very far to accomplish his infinite Tsukuyomi plan, originally planned by Madara Uchiha, but Obito decided he wanted to be the savior of the world, with or without Madara being around or alive. Obito killed people he knew, but that's the reason why everyone understands his character, to give up hope entirely, when you literally only care about yourself and your means. Obito is both loved and hated, but people can really get behind the character and his whole mindset. Now, my favorite villain, Pain. What makes him such an incredible character? You don't have to love him to understand him, and it's okay to hate him while agreeing with him. Pain is a very serious villain. He kills the innocent and pushes out people from his past life to only remind himself to move forward. Pain's cycle of hatred speech is so incredible to know he understands how the shinobi world works. And you just have to make sacrifices to push your ideology stronger. Pain had no problem at all making new destruction in order to achieve his true piece of his image. Even though he's continuing the same cycle, he also just doesn't have a choice. You can't imagine a plan to control all the shinobi wars and believe you can do it without any damage or loss on the journey. But also doing that means before achieving that goal, he also has to keep continuing the same hatred cycle for justice to happen. I love Pain because he was written mostly different than any other villain in Naruto. Now, getting into Madara Uchiha, the king of badasses, Madara's name was built up for years. History told us he was impossible to defeat. Only the first Hokage killed him. Even some believe Obito was a fake the whole time and was waiting for the real Madara Uchiha to finally show up. Madara was strong enough to destroy mountains, sure, but he also had an ideology that people naturally will go back to conflict. Even if peace happened naturally, If there was a way to stop humanity altogether, it could work, causing all humans to not even have a chance to go back to conflict. And well, Madara found the answer. After awakening the Rinnegan as an old man, Madara forged a plan of infinite Tsukiyomi. The only problem was, at the time when he birthed the idea, he was too old and too weak. That's when he seeked out the awareness of Obito Uchiha, and the rest is history. Kishimoto gives every villain a reason to commit their actions, a reason to believe in their destruction. He always makes sure we are invested with their goals and their means to make their plans come true. Even if you dislike Obito killing Neji to try to make Naruto become for who he is now, if Naruto gives in to despair and hate as well, it perfectly makes sense that Obito chose the right path all along, and it was not a mistake. Madara wanted to erase all hatred, but he's not naive. He knew fully well his plans started the Fourth Great Ninja War and continued the cycle of destruction. Same thing with Pain. He wanted a true world with no conflict as well. But in order to erase conflict, you have to have some more conflict to erase all conflict. It's going to get worse before it gets better is what the saying goes. Now, evil Gaara. Gaara doesn't fully have an ideology. He was heavily lied to about his childhood to make him become a powerful weapon for his village. Unlike Obito, his whole mindset was completely brainwashed by a fake real death that he believed happened because of natural causes, but it was all part of a massive huge plan by Madara. Gaara wasn't planned for anything, they just wanted him to control the Shikaku spirit inside of him. That was it, but he ended up being a failure, and let him just live. Of course, he's still killing people, but not under orders to do so, but under a small lie from his uncle, that only his purpose matters. Only he deserves to exist in this world, and everyone else is just blood. Naruto villains are amazing, some you love, some you like less, but without a doubt, they taught us important lessons about how the world works and how people can become monsters. You either live as the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. As for Zabuza and Haku, as much as we all loved them, they truly only served a small purpose for the story and meeting. They were rogue shinobi. That was really it. Some people say Haku should have lived, but I don't know what else you could do with him, Haku, after this arc. Now, Kimimaro, a small villain that I really love and respect. Now, his ideology, he believes everyone has a purpose. Bad or good, everyone has a purpose. And his purpose, he believed, to serve Orochimaru because of his brainwashed. But what I love about Kimimaro, he was so curious about life, about being alone. And when we have real events happening to ourselves, why do we question God? If God does exist, why would he allow this to happen to me? Things like that I related to with Kimimaro. And like I said in my Kimimaro Wasted video, I would have loved to see Kimimaro travel and trying to discover his own identity, trying to go to village and meeting people, making a few friends who could teach him about life and all these other ideas that are in my head, because Kimimaro was a curious person. He was trying to find meaning, a purpose, and to see him go on his own journey to discover his real identity after Orochimaru stole his originally, that was always a cool concept in my imagination. But once again, Kimimaro sadly was only a small villain, and once he died, he died. But all the Naruto villains all served a purpose, a small purpose or a big purpose. They all had a reason to exist into the story. And this is why we love Naruto villains. I'm Beetle, subscribe if you want, and send your word and have a good night. Bye.